Hey everybody, so I'm out here today for the Fathom event for 3 from Hell. Hey, look at that. Yeah, so I don't know what really to expect. I prepared a little bit because it's been a while since I've seen both movies. Actually, really good conversation over there on the Beyond the Void horror podcast. Make sure that you guys go check them out. But they talked about both House of Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects and their feelings for both. And I thought that it was a good conversation. And so last night I decided, what the hell, I'm going to go ahead and watch The Devil's Rejects. Not going to watch both. I thought about watching both. I actually went and watched a couple recaps. Some of my favorite scenes from A House of Thousand Corpses. And then actually some channel did I forgot the name of the channel. I'm sorry. But they did a decent recap of the whole thing. And really, that's a movie that I don't think that you need to watch in preparation for this, unless you really want to. I mean, being Rob Zombie's first film, it is interesting. And there's some really great shots in it. One of my favorite is, of course, when he kills the one deputy and the camera just pans out like all crazy and takes forever to fucking kill him. But I love that shot. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And there's some good kills in it, and there's some interesting scenes. Of course, Captain Spaulding is the reason that you're watching that movie. And also Otis, Bill Moseley is fucking great in that movie. But beyond that, it's kind of just like I'd say like a mediocre horror movie. Good for the time. Not necessarily my favorite of Rob Zombie's films. But The Devil's Rejects still holds up pretty well. There's a couple of scenes in it that are a little funky. The change from Karen Black to the new actress that plays the mom, and she's a little bit over the top. When I say a little bit, I mean way too fucking over the top. But in general, I mean, again, you're not really watching it for her. You're watching it for Captain Spaulding, Sid Haig, and you're watching it for Otis. That's it. Those are the reasons why you watch it. And they're definitely worth it. I agree with Alex. I didn't think originally that Brian Posehn was so bad in the film, but he is pretty fucking terrible. But it's still entertaining. Like, it's good. The dialogue is really good. If there's one thing about Zombies films I really do enjoy, it's the dialogue. But he's very dialogue heavy in general. He has these like sometimes really slow builds to absolutely nothing. And then kind of like the way that my camera is working today, maybe I'm just trying to give you a little sneak preview of 31. But that movie is really fucking shaky. But it is pretty goddamn good. I was very surprised with 31. And there's a ton of other films that you can watch from Mr. Zombie over there. If you like the Halloween movies, not so much 2 versus 1. And then The Haunted World of El Super Beasto is pretty damn good. Lords of Salem, I think it's just too slow for my liking. It's interesting, but not necessarily where I thought it would go. But I'm not here to talk about the filmography of Rob Zombie. I'm here to talk about 3 from Hell and what I'm going to expect from this. I don't really know. I'm hoping that, again, we get some really good dialogue. I'm hoping that, there's probably some interesting choices for kills. Hopefully get a lot of practical effect with that stuff. I know Zombie likes to do a lot more practical effects than anything else. He likes to keep it gritty, grimy, grindhousey, which you really get from The Devil's Rejects. So I'm hoping it continues in that tradition. I'm hoping that, the character progression is pretty good. I'm hoping that, just that it's at least somewhat entertaining. I have a feeling that it might be a little bit longer than what I want it to be. I haven't really seen any reviews or done any type of time. I haven't checked out how long the film is going to be or anything like that. I've tried to keep myself pretty new and pretty focused on just seeing this film and seeing how everything goes. So I'll do, normal review reaction after everything is finished. Whether or not it's with Pat, I don't know. Might just be me. We'll have to find out and see, because it is stupid me, old man work night. So, I don't want to be out super late and get all that stuff done. But if you guys have seen it, you can let me know below, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit after 3 from Hell. As you can probably guess, those guys over there, after yelling at me, fat boy, they are on their way. You got Angela, Patrick, and Crystal walking on up, and I will see you in a minute. Yes. So what are your quick thoughts?
Well, let's see. Hillbilly, white trash, murder. Let's do this.
Oh, let's do this.
I want to know how they survive.
Any thoughts from you two?
I'm just looking forward to Sense of Slaughter.
Sense of Slaughter, got it.
And so I hope they get some tutti fucking fruity.
Oh, I'm not gonna get ice cream in this movie.
I just hope it's entertaining.
I'm
all
so
right.
excited.
Somebody can't make it over the hump. Look at that little rice rocket.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all these lovely facts about Rob Zombie. If you don't know that, okay, where's the next one? Oh, do you know the answer?
House of a Thousand Corpses?
Is it?
I mean, we've only seen it 16 times, but...
I know, this is like the 15th time we've seen this bullshit.
Oh
my God, he was right. It's a House of a Thousand Corpses. Thought it was a House of a Thousand Care Bears. All right, so we're here. He's paying attention to his watch.
I'm
he's
turning
probably
off
tuned
the sound.
So, we just came out of 3 from Hell. And
2.5 from Hell?
No, 3 from Hell, because it's still technically 3. And I'm totally going to blank on people's and actors' names, the only ones that make ones. But,
Is this
so...
spoiler or spoiler?
I think it's got to be spoilers, because I want to say something about, like, what happens at the end. Because it's part of my rants for this. But,
so,
first of all...
Spoiler
alert. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, it's starting.
2.
So, the first initial thoughts.
I enjoyed it. Definitely he's not a Devil's Rejects, but I mean, of course, then again, like you watching the documentary made me like brought it up a little bit because one, I was still thinking about the movie while they're talking about it, and it kind of brought more thought into it about like the whole thing about 15 years later and the characters are going to be different. And
so yeah, that was the thing that we saw the second showing. So there's 3 total of these, like, Fathom, right? The first one you get a poster. This one you get the documentary, the extra half hour or whatever it was, and I missed the ending because I had to fucking piss like a racehorse.
You didn't really miss much.
And oh, good. And then the other one tomorrow is you get to see the Devil's Rejects, and then you get to see 3 from Hell. So you get a back-to-back double feature.
Honestly, I think that if we didn't have that concert tomorrow, I kind of would have wanted to do that.
That's why I watched the Devil's Rejects last night.
Ew.
Because I wanted to have a little bit of a refresher. I know, I'm fancy. I found it on Cinemax. So my initial thoughts were that everything that I liked about the Devil's Rejects that was here, I really liked in this movie. And then there were just some things that I didn't like that were... I enjoyed it. I'm going to say this straight up. It may sound like I'm bitching. It may sound like I hated it. It may sound whatever. But I really did actually enjoy the flick. I found myself smiling. I found myself getting into it. I'm actually not a fan of the ending. I think the ending could have been a lot better than it was. And I felt like the beginning was really slow.
I was about to say that. One of my biggest gripes about this movie is I felt like the beginning of it was too slow. The documentary part at the opening I thought was great. I love that.
It was a great way to bring them, like, show how they came back.
Exactly.
I thought that was good. But it just was just fucking creeping, man.
But yeah, then after that, it went to slow, and then they finally
Where the
started picking
fuck
up.
is this going?
And the other thing, since we're doing spoilers, right?
Yeah, you can do
something that don't make no sense to me is how is Danny Trejo's character not going to remember who Otis is?
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. Like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
But the thing is that he didn't actually go after Otis and the Devil's Rejects. That was Diamond Dallas Page.
It was both of them, though, wasn't it?
No, they both went, but he went after what's her name? He went after Baby, right? So he slit the girl's throat, or the person that was with Baby, and then went in there. Whereas Diamond Dallas Page's character actually went after Otis. And so it would have made sense if Diamond Dallas Page's character, and not Rondo, Danny Trejo's character, I don't remember DDP's character's name, but if he was the one that was out there on the chain gang, it would make a lot more sense. But I mean, I did like the whole thing of like, you will remember me, like those type of things. Like, Bill Moseley in this movie is fucking amazing. He's really good.
He is, but I still feel like, though, you know who you were going after.
Exactly.
And they're like supposed to be at this time period the biggest killers, period. And you're not gonna remember trailing Baby, and her accomplice was Otis, and like, I just thought to me, like, the other thing too about that is he's this mass murderer and he's gonna be put on death row and all this shit. he ain't gonna be on no fucking chain gang.
No, they're not gonna bring him out into the middle of fucking nowhere, make him dig his own ditch so that he gets fucking whatever.
That was
fucking bullshit. They're keeping fucking baby in solitary confinement, and yet with fucking Otis, they're not gonna do any of that shit. And I get it. Sid Haig is not doing well, right? I wish all the best to Sid Haig right now. I know he's still in critical or whatever ICU. But I really wish we had more of fucking Captain Spaulding.
I agree, and
but I thought that his little thing was cool.
Honestly, I hope that Rob Zombie somehow releases what his original idea was with him.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, you know, as soon as I saw that, I was a little upset, and I heard you say they killed him already. But my thing was, right away it clicked, man. You can tell he's not doing good. He can't even do what he can. I figured he wasn't going to be able to do the actual. I think that this movie came out 5 years earlier, it would have been better. Would have been okay.
You can tell when he speaks in it, he's not. He doesn't even really look all there.
He
doesn't sound the same and everything. And if you go back, and this is a plug for Dave and his pop culture podcast, but he doesn't interview. Actually, on Black Cat Shadow, they did the interview about 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And even though he like the stories and stuff are cool, he still didn't sound super great then.
Yeah.
You know, so I get it. I just, after watching The Devil's Rejects and how much I like Captain Spaulding in that movie, I was expecting to have a little more of him. And for him to die in the first 10 minutes, I was like, what the fuck?
But at the same time,
I totally get it.
I'm glad he was able to at least he was okay enough to be in the movie to do what the part he did. He said what he had to. He said some good dialogue, some Captain Spaulding dialogue.
Yeah.
And they executed him. You know, to me at least it wasn't just Captain Spaulding was executed. They had nothing to film with him at all.
Yeah.
You know, so at least we got that.
And
you can't get upset. I'm sorry, I know I cut you off. You can't get upset with Rob Zombie for what he did. You can't that he wasn't in the whole movie, because you have to understand that he isn't doing well health-wise.
What I'm going to say is that the documentary actually helps us a lot too, because he goes and says in the documentary, look, I kept going seeing Sid, and he wasn't, I kept writing the part differently, and then differently, and then differently again, until he wrote what he could, because that's the way Sid is. And so they brought in Richard Brake, who was good.
Yeah, he was good. And I loved him in 31.
31 is fucking amazing.
I think that's what helped push him to bring him into this role too. And
Doom, not so much. 31.
Anybody gets killed on the shitter, I guess, right?
I guess so. But no, honestly, and they even said, how can this guy come into this thing, and he's going to be he's the third, right? And how is he going to mesh with everybody? And he works pretty well with them. I think that, of course, Bill Moseley is the star of this film. And then it's him. He does a really good job. But I still don't know and I know Dave's probably going to kill me on this. I still don't know Sherry Moon. Like, that role, it's better than it has been. But it's still, like, the fucking cat thing. What the fuck is that? Can you please tell me what the fuck the cat thing was?
I think they were trying to really push over the fact that she was...
she was going fucking crazy.
Baby was always... on that teeter-totter, I feel like. And that being in solitude that whole time is what pushed over. Honestly, did that whole cat scene need to be put in there? I don't think it did. I think that she portrayed, like, right away, this will make you laugh. As a person who has tattoos, I didn't like the tattoos on her.
No.
But that's neither here or there. As soon as you saw her right away, especially...
all the arm ones kind of went away, too.
Yeah.
Only the cat bat right here.
Her parole hearing, which I thought was hilarious that she was getting a parole hearing.
I know.
Out of all of them.
Because she's a woman.
Yeah, it's sexism right there.
Yeah, I know.
But I think that, that whole time, you just caught how she's gone a little more over. And one of the things I also like is the fact that Otis mentions it. Because you don't know her like I know her, and she's really gone over the
there's
edge.
Something wrong with her.
Yeah.
Like seriously wrong with her. And the thing is that if that cat scene had happened before the scene with her and the warden where she's getting the stitches, I think I would have been okay with it. Because she was trying to make a comparison to her being the cat and the warden and everything, that story. And then all of a sudden later you see the cat and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I just felt that it was a little out of place.
If you're gonna have it before.
Have it before. I think it would have made a little more of an impact on it because it's like her seeing herself outside and free. I get it, but it's just, I don't know. I would have liked it the other way.
I want to get Dave's opinion on when he watches this. I want to see what you think. If she was about 10, 15 years younger, could you see her playing Harley Quinn?
Yes.
The way she acted in this movie,
I
was
like,
right away in my head, I was like, dude, the way she sounds, the way she's talking, the way she's acting, I was like, God, she'd be a perfect. I'm not like hating on Margot Robbie at all, but I'm just saying, like, well, I'm not saying, I'm just saying her Harley Quinn wasn't horrible.
It wasn't, but for me, it would be the closest thing that you could get to the original Batman the Animated Series Harley Quinn.
Honk the horn, scare the shit.
I'm not going to scare anybody. I think that, there is some of that kind of creepy psycho, kind of sexy psycho type of thing going on with her.
And I don't know. I just, right away, I just pictured her in a Harley Quinn suit. I thought, like, God, if she was just a little bit younger, I think she would be the perfect cast for Harley Quinn. The way see this movie and see if you agree with me. Dave, I want your opinion.
And the thing is that with, like we said, the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of the focusing. I like Dee Wallace too. Dee Wallace was really great as Greta, the security guard, prison guard, or whatever you want to call her. But like that whole like little section, like you get Otis out of prison, and then it's like there's this long fucking elaborate plan to get fucking baby out. And the whole shit, they could have shortened that so much. You could have made that so much.
I completely agree with that.
And I don't mind the stuff with the warden and stuff, because they got to torture the warden to make sure that he does it. I love the part with fucking Clint Howard, and I didn't even know it was fucking Clint Howard.
The thing with that, though, it just seems odd. Like, it just seems like that was out of nowhere, because there's no way he'd be going to that house.
Unless because there were some kind of balloons and stuff as they went in. I think there was something he was trying to surprise his wife with.
Okay, maybe I missed that.
I thought there was something like that here. But yeah, I mean, it's a little out of place, but I thought that it was the make me laugh thing was fucking hilarious, and even the line that he got out of it. It could be cut too. It was some entertainment I think that I needed for the film. I wasn't sure if it necessarily was just because it seemed like so lulling, and I'm not saying that it's because it's specifically, the whole start with baby and the whole, like, it's all baby all the time for that part. That's not it. I just felt that part was a little slow. And then, it seems like, okay, well, maybe we can end this film because they got away, they did the thing, now they're going to be on the run, boom. Then they go to fucking Mexico. And if that was more of it, cool. I would totally be okay with it. Cut the beginning and do more about the stuff in Mexico. I want to know about Danny Trejo's son just a little bit more.
Yeah, I love, if I'm going to say his name, Emilio Rivera. I think his last name was Rivera. Rivera.
He's fucking great.
I love that guy. He was, and I got to start watching it. Cause they're already on season 2, because I was a big Sons of Anarchy fan, and that was one of my favorite parts was when they involved the Mayans from Hayward, which I'm from.
Which we're from.
We're from, ever since I known you were Cache Valley. Anyway.
I'm on the border.
On the border.
Yeah, I'm on the bad side of Cache Valley. That is Hayward.
Anyways, in other things I've seen him in, I really like him as an actor. I think he's great. And as soon as I saw him turn around and see that he was in this movie, I didn't even know he was in it.
Neither did I.
When he turned around, I was like, oh, I got all excited.
I know, I could hear you from over there. And I thought that I would have loved a little more backstory to that thing, or, hearing things earlier, have a flashback when he's thinking about, you did see the giant poster of Danny Trejo up here, up against the wall and stuff like that, and all the damn candles and everything like that all hanging out. Well,
and that's the kind of the thing that is like, if he's like this big guy in Mexico, mob guy in Mexico, what the fuck's his dad being in America as a mob boss, or as a bounty hunter, excuse me, and then all of a sudden he's just in some random jail. Like, it just was like
that was my thing with him too. Like, what the fuck was Ronaldo or whatever the fuck his name was, Danny Trejo's character? Well, how did he get kidnapped or put into prison? I would say kidnapped. Like, he was this big old fucking bounty hunter that was doing, like, he'd do something wrong that got him into fucking prison? Because he seemed like, it wasn't the necessary guys that you needed to get, but it was the bounty hunters that he needed, right? They maybe did something wrong? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, where's, they couldn't just get DDP in. They didn't bring him in at all. And
I know.
Maybe what happened was they were both needed to escape. He got diamond cuttered by Danny Trejo got diamond cuttered by DDP. He was like, I ain't getting caught. Bang! And then he left him, and then he's like,
oh, you fucker. I don't know.
Maybe he was like, hey man, we're partners. Like, let me get in on this business, your tacos. And he's just like, no, you get in on my business. A diamond upside down is a pussy. And then he gets diamond cut.
There's a possibility. We have an opportunity to have Trejo's tacos tomorrow.
True.
And so the thing is, like, all the stuff in Mexico, the one thing that I hated was that they had to kill the midget. There was, so this film does what Devil's Rejects does really well, where you have these like crazy batshit scenes and everything, and then all of a sudden you have these weird, like, calm scenes of family. And you get attached to the characters in that way, and you're sitting there, you're like, fuck, why am I thinking about these things in terms of like, oh man, they're like a family, and they love each other, and they really care about each other, but they are fucking like homicidal fucking maniacs. That stuff is done so well, and it happens again in this film on a bunch, especially the initial car ride when they pull up to the motel and they're just like bickering. They haven't seen each other in so long, and they're already like bickering a little bit with each other.
Yeah,
it's interesting. And then you have the midget guy when they're in Mexico, and like baby is actually like not necessarily getting attracted to him, but she's changing a little bit by the interaction with him.
She seems to be kind of more normal when she's with him,
because she sees him as tiny. Like her brother, the abnormal one from House of Thousand Corpses, and the very end of the Devil's Rejects. So it's cool to see that, but then all of a sudden he's the one that's got to fucking like get his ass blown up. Like everybody in the town basically fucking dies except for the three of them. Like, I honestly wish that they would have killed them. That's what the ending I wanted to see. Not that they get away and, oh my god, look, they're still gonna roam the countryside. I don't know.
Unless
I just felt
they're trying
like
to set it up for a fourth one.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt, and I really wish that there would have been like a definitive end, like, eventually that things are going to catch up to them, because it just makes them seem like...
Which how Devil's Reject did it.
Yeah, exactly. It ended the way everything caught up to them, and they couldn't escape that, but I guess they fucking escaped it, because here they are in 3 from Hell. But I was the only thing that I didn't quite care for. I mean, everything else I thought was pretty good. I mean, is there anything that it really strikes out to you that you feel like was really good, or was just could have been a little bit better? Besides what we've already talked about.
I feel like it wasn't as gory. I mean, there was a couple scenes. That one chick in the woods with the hunter.
Yeah, with the face.
With the face. I felt like it could have been a little more gory compared to what the other films were.
2 chicks in the cell. The intestines all out.
Yeah,
but
like we didn't even get to see it.
But we didn't get to see any of that.
So, I feel like for Rob Zombie, who's usually going with more of the violence, I feel like it was also toned down a lot from the other two.
Yeah, there was a lot more CGI blood. Like when the guy was getting stabbed with machete at the end, like he was stabbing, and then the blood was coming out, but it was all CGI. Like the blood splatter and stuff. It looks like, he didn't have necessarily the budget. Like they said in the documentary, I gotta refer back to it again, the difference between a $1 million movie and a $100 million movie are the toys that you get to play with.
Yeah.
And maybe he just didn't have the toys to do the practical effects. Like, I was really hoping for a lot more practical stuff. There was a lot more just gunplay in this. Like, rather than...
Then again, if he didn't have the budget and he had to work with what he got, I mean...
Yeah. The arrow stuff I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, she went all fucking Lara Croft and Tomb Raider and started plugging fools with arrows.
So how long until we hear people bitch about the headdress?
Oh,
There's a white woman wearing an Indian headdress. Excuse me, Native American headdress.
Yeah, but it's the early 80s. It's the Reagan era.
It's technically supposed to be...
It's the Reagan era. Yeah, because they have Reagan on the wall.
That's right.
So... All right.
That mustache, though.
That stash.
The warden.
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, man, you got that time to fucking twirl that shit constantly? What the hell, man? I thought you were going to talk about the stash of the guy that was wearing the Mexican outfit.
Him, too.
I thought we were going to have a party like the girls, that they were going to have a party with us. A love party.
A love party.
So, so what's your final score for the film?
3.5 out of 5, or 3.5 out of 5. Face is getting cut off because like I said, it was just slow in that after the documentary part, which was great. It just felt like it was too slow getting there, and I wish there was a little more violence in it. Which I guess makes me sound like a psychopath a little bit. I guess I don't know, but just going off of House of a Thousand Corpses and then Devil's Rejects, it was a little more violent and a little more bloody, and that's what I'm going for with these characters. But Rob Zombie still made me go to the point where I'm like, I'm starting to, I still care about these characters. They're fucking psychopath killers, but yet I'm rooting for them to pull it off. How are they going to do it? So, I mean, like I said, I'm upset about Captain Spaulding, but I'm not holding that against this movie because for obvious reasons we've talked about at the beginning. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 satanic luchadors. I can't speak tonight for some reason.
Luchadores.
And it's
Tres
for a lot
luchadores.
of... It's, tres luchadores.
I'm trying to think what's the word for it.
I don't know, 3 stars,
No.
whatever you think. But anyway, while he's thinking of that, for exactly the reasons that Patrick said, I'm going to say the same thing. Where the dialogue, like I said in the little intro thing, Rob Zombie is always very good with dialogue, and here he is very good with his dialogue, and he is very good at making you feel for these characters and getting attached to these characters. That just like a Bonnie and Clyde type of situation where the people were rooting for the bad guys, and that was a real life situation. Here you are also rooting for them, even though they're doing completely and utter fucked up shit, and you have to kind of reassess yourself and think about things when you watch it. So, good flick. Could have been, I think, a great flick, but it just fell a little bit short.
Yeah.
I'm getting flashed in the face with the light. So,
getting flashed in the face with some titties.
Yeah, well, big fat Mexican titties.
What the hell is that for the Spanish word for devil?
Diablo?
Diablo! Tres Diablo Luchadores! Why I couldn't remember, I kept wanting to say bruja, which is witch.
Which is witch.
I couldn't think of freaking Diablo!
So,
I'm bad Hispanic.
With that being said, Pat, you want to plug yourself real fast?
Yeah, it's Paranormal Pat at the Paranormal Pativity Podcast. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and IGTV at Paranormal Pat 64. And you can email me at paranormalpat64@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Paranormal Pativity Podcast.
Yeah, you're already watching everything on YouTube. You find The Terrible Terror where you can find all your podcasts. Also on Facebook, on Twitter, T_T_podcast. All the show notes down below will have everything. Let us know what you thought about 3 from Hell. I'm actually going to try to get this up the same night that we saw it, so that way that it's fresh in everybody's mind.
One too.
And don't forget to check out this weekend. The episode is going to be on Warlock, so I'm going to be talking about another fucked up guy.
Male bruja.
Yeah, male bruja. And also, I'll be announcing the October podcast films that we're going to be talking about all October. It has a single theme, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. So.
Bruja esta niño.
All right. Well, enjoy. See you guys later.